So now let's dive into the nitty-gritty here. We'd like to share some examples with you, and the way we've structured this is we're going to share with you a good accomplishment statement. We are going to share with you a better accomplishment statement, and then we're going to share with you an outstanding accomplishment statement. And we're going to walk you through the differences and the whys and the hows, so that uh, it will make more sense to you in terms of writing your own accomplishments. Okay, so let's take a look at a quote, a good accomplishment. So the accomplishment is developed training programs in multiple regions to reduce customer complaints. Okay, now this type of an accomplishment might come from somebody who is an HR manager or HR director or a learning and development professional, for example. Or it could be a technical expert who develops some training programs in his area of technical expertise. There's a hint here of the scope of his job, which was, part of his or her job was obviously to develop training programs. But there's also a flavor of accomplishment. And you will see here that the flavor of this accomplishment is reducing customer complaints. Okay. Now, before we show you the better way of writing this accomplishment bullet point, let's take 10 seconds and think to yourself, how could we make this bullet point better? I always love the awkward silence on webinars. All right. Now, if you thought, hey, it wouldn't hurt to have some numbers here, you're right. So Eli, would you share with us the better one? Okay. Developed 15 training programs in 5 regions that reduce customer complaints by 60%. Okay. So there are 3 metrics here. 2 of them, the 15 and the 5, are comprised of the scope or the context of the accomplishment. The actual accomplishment was reducing customer complaints by 60%. Okay, the numbers jump off the page, as Eli mentioned, and it's much more interesting than the first bullet point, even though the first bullet point's not bad. Okay, and thank you, Ankita. Absolutely. So again, this time I'll give you 5 seconds. Pressure's on. How can you make this bullet point even better than the better bullet point? All right, time's up. If you said, it would be great if you could make the accomplishment even more prominent and easier to pick out of the sentence, then you'd be absolutely right. So let's share our last example of an outstanding bullet point, Eli. All right, reduce customer complaints by 60% by developing and implementing a call center training program to over 100 customer service representatives. Okay, so what did we do here? Well, what we did was we took the accomplishment, which was the 60% customer complaint reduction, and we moved it to the front of the sentence. Okay. Now, okay, wow, that's such a tiny detail, Peter. Why is that important? Okay. Well, it's important because what we mentioned earlier about how quickly recruiters read your resume. They don't have that much time, right? And so by front loading the critical information at the beginning of the sentence, you're going to increase the likelihood that they're actually going to see it. It's a very similar, say, strategy to the reason why we're proposing that you have that summary section at the top of your resume, because what they see at the beginning of your resume is going to, influence how they digest the rest of your resume. So if you've got a powerful summary section, it's much more likely they're going to spend more time looking at the rest of your resume. If you have powerful accomplishment bullet points and they're front loaded with with the metrics and the accomplishment, it's much more likely that they're going to spend more time digesting the entirety of your resume.